Last week I had a client that sent me a pair of jeans and he asked if I can recreate this for him, and of course I said yes. So this is the sample piece I'm working with. Let's go. All right, there's 5 main points I noticed right away: the front pockets, back pockets, the slash in the back pocket, the flare, and finally the strap. But later we do change that. So basically just a leopard print, but we want to make it look more professional. That's why I'm making this video, so you can see how I work with my clients on a personal level. And I mean, if you upcycle, always keep that clear communication with your client. You know, you're kind of forced to work with what you have. So for example, I can only find a 33-30, but he needed a 33-33. So, you know, I went over different ways we can kind of counter this, and we both came to an agreement later on. I'm gonna explain more into it. We worked a lot in the past, and we have similar expectations and mindset when it comes to fashion and styling. You know, he wanted something a little different this time, more of a cleaner look. He also gave me some leopard print fabric, and I gave him some sketches I made just to make sure we're on the same page. And let me just say, if you want to work with me, you don't have to go to these lengths, you know, sending me a sample piece, fabric, this, that, but you know, clients like this are way different, and it makes the final product way more clear in my mindset and theirs. But some people just like when I do my thing and do it in my style, which I love as well. Starting off, he wants 20 by 10, so 20 inches up, trying to cross, but we're gonna do 11 for seam allowance. So of course I cut them up, but I had to add a denim backing, because even though the fabric he got me was sturdy, I still wanted that quality to be there in the final result. So I just cut out some backings, glued it on. But anyway, when doing commissions, you always want to make sure your time management is good. Okay, so over time you're gonna learn your own ways to cut down time and still keep it efficient and authentic to your brand. So in this case, I cut out a lot of time just by simply gluing it and holding it instead of just pinning it up and everything. And while that was drying, I just went right over to the pockets and started shaping them up, cutting around the edges, making sure everything's laid flat and nice. You already know. Then I grabbed some chalk and outlined that coin pocket, just tracing it around the folds and bumps, and then just cut it out. Then after that, I went right to the flares, and I have a tutorial on flares if you're interested. So I'm not gonna spend too much time on that, but we did end up flaring it up, double-sided on each seam. And remember what I said earlier, you have to work with what you got. So I give him the option that I could do this right now if I'll be able to extend it with another black backing, and he was down. Now I told him I can tint it so it's less visible to the eye, and he was with it, man, and it came out real nice. So I extended it to his exact measurements. Then I began to flare as normal. So I got that done and went straight for the front pocket. This can take a little more time because you do have to basically sew inside the pocket. And also you gotta watch out for those rivets just to make sure you don't break your needle or anything. All right, boom, got those done. Now it's time for the back pockets. So real quick, let's take a look at the pockets he gave me. Now basically it's just a background of the leopard print, but I wanted to bring that leopard print forward and combined it with the regular pocket. By the way, I'm communicating with my client as I do this to make sure we're on the same page again. So I asked him if he wants me to do a seamless pocket and it can just make it look like one panel. I literally just sewed it up like some flares, sewed the good sides together, flipped it backwards, serged it up, and then it was flush with it. I didn't want to do like a flat felt seam, but I sent it to him and he liked it, so he went with it. I used my rotary tool to distress it. Then I put the leopard print behind it, and I went back and forth. Using that back and forth method, I use a lot. I really don't know what to call it, but maybe there isn't. If there's a name, just comment it below. There's, you know how sometimes you can put a backing in it and it's like loose. This makes it literally like one, but it isn't baggy and look tacky. So afterwards, I sewed this up. He was happy with it. I was happy with it. Then we wanted to move on to something different. He wanted that waistband or like strap to begin with to go around and disconnect and connect to the side. But he eventually wanted me to go for a tassel.
All right, so it's above the pocket or just under it. It's just sewed on. There's one piece right here, and then it splits off into multiple. Leopard print, like with the black, would be crazy.
It kind of looks like almost like a belt loop. That's the best I could describe it. So this one's shorter. It's gonna go on the square like this, and then the other one will go in between it. And then for this, like this, right? And I'm gonna sew it in a circle, and then these are gonna be on the inside. So when it moves, you can see the cheetah print underneath. Now at this point, I sewed that up. I sewed everything. I got everything done, looking great. All I gotta do is distress it. That will make everything come together. If you are a brand owner and sell clothing, always wash your clothing, because all the frayed ends are gonna come out. All the glue is gonna come out. It's gonna look nice, pristine condition, you know. You don't want to, it's like sending something uncompleted. I see people do that sometimes when upcycling. Just remember to wash it, bro. So keeping that in mind, after I distressed it, I just used that wire brush to make sure all those frayed ends were peeking out already. So in the washer, it would be real easy to fray even more. I really wanted that back pocket to look frayed up, so I just took a wire brush, put it in the washer, everything looked good. It came out beautiful. You may have seen on my other platforms or on YouTube Shorts, I recently have started screen printing. So I screen printed my logo and I added it for the back tag. Just more quality after washes more than the Cricut. Then I used some of that same ink but more darker for the jeans to tint them on the bottom. Like I said, it's durable for the wash. I heat set it before it was all finished, and now it blends right in, man. Like, he wanted that more minimalist look, and it achieved even with that. So I used the label printer for these little tags. It just shows the product name and how much I produced of this specific piece. Obviously this is one of one, and the size of it, of course. And then after that, I used the light cut machine to cut out my logo for this bag. Real quick, I'm gonna showcase this before I send it off to ship. So if you remember in the beginning of the video, I said there was 5 main points: the front pockets, back pockets, the slash in the back pocket, the flare, and finally the strap. So let's do a little review and you tell me in the comments if I aced this or not. It really only matters to him, but either way, it was fun with the tassel, trying something new. The whole experience, I love doing commissions, man. If you are an upcycler as well and you're struggling with commissions, always keep that clear communication with your client, and don't be scared to take losses. That's how you turn them into W's, and that's how you learn, bro, you know? I just want to thank my boy right here for giving me a shot on this and trusting me with my craft. If you're watching this video, it's always a pleasure working with you. Thank you. And that goes for any of you that bought from me in the past, done commissions with, or even watching this video right now. That reminds me, if you want to have a chance for a free giveaway, for me to be able to give back to you, and you can go through this process that I just did with this client, go ahead to my last video. I have a free giveaway entry for you. But thank you for the love. Thank you for all the support. I'm going to see you in the next videos. Genesis, we out.